What's that? This is the first deck Anya has ordered in over a year? It might be. Hello, hello, it's me, it's Anya, and I'm here with Messy Hair Don't Care. I feel like I have not recorded a video in such a long time because, in truth, I haven't. I've been ripping my hair out with stress and anxiety about school, university, and dissertation, and all of that fun stuff. So now that I'm trying to detox and decompress a little bit from that, I thought, well, a fun video to do would be something I haven't done, I was gonna say in a while, but actually probably haven't done before. I have done something that I haven't done in more than a year at this point, and that is, I've bought myself a new tarot deck. And I actually have not even opened the package yet. So I thought jumping in and doing a new video for the first time in, I don't know, a month more, it would be fun to do an actual unboxing. And this is going to be different from any other unboxing videos because this is a deck that I actually have not gotten to look through yet. So let's get to it, right? Whoosh, and there we go. You get a little sneak peek, or you want to, yeah. All right, so you all got the little sneak peek as the box opened up. Yes, indeed, I ordered myself the Supernatural Tarot deck. Why? Because, man, why not? I've actually been a fan of Supernatural for a very long time. I originally started off as a Dean girl because, you know, you start off, you're either a Dean girl or you're a Sam girl. Then season 4 came around and I tried to deny it for a long time, but I very much evolved into a Castiel girl, and I am now still a Castiel girl. And I've loved this show. There's so much about, I've gotten people into it. I love this show. I will say though, despite that, and this is where I might draw some hate from fans, I actually have not seen a lot of the newer seasons. I did see through season 5 where naturally the series was meant to end. I did watch 6, but as I just said, I've been a Castiel girl for many years, so let's be honest. If you know what happens in season 6, you probably know why I might have some beef with season 6. Won't go into all of that. That might be a video for another day. But I saw season 6, I saw season 7, and then season 8, I don't remember what happened. I just fell off of it. It was probably, I know the time I started watching it was around the time that I was actually having to move back from Scotland, so my depression was kicking in quite bad, and that could have contributed to it. So I haven't really gotten to go back. I am eager to watch some of those later seasons, but I feel like I need to do that with a little bit of alcohol. But that being said, I've always loved these characters. I've always loved this show and what it's about. I'm into, you know, the supernatural. When I was a kid, I was very into cryptozoology, you know, monsters and things like that we don't know whether or not they exist. I grew up being in love with things like the Loch Ness Monster and stuff like that. So when the show Supernatural came out, it was just way up my alley. So when there is a tarot deck for it, you gotta get it. And first of all, I like this size. I like this box and deck size. I've got boxes for tarot decks that are just so big and clunky. Moving countries, it was kind of difficult to decide, okay, which one do I want to bring with me? You know, am I gonna leave the book in the States until I can mail it over and just take the deck with me? You know, this is actually, like, I can hold this right in my hand without needing, like, oh god, perfect. I like that. I like the little hard box. I do like when we get a nice pretty box to go along with it. Already I'm kind of liking that. I'm loving the sigils and stuff like that on the side. Ooh, ooh, baby. So let's see. We do have a guidebook. We have a guidebook. Oh god, you guys. Can I just, okay, I'm slipping because I don't exactly know how you're supposed to do unboxing videos, but I did open it up just to see, you know, when you open it up and it just looks like, and you have the sigils, the blue sigils on the side. I love the colors here. Like it's consistent. It's consistent in the theme. It knows what it's going for and it works with it. I love it. I love the sigils all over it. Love. And then you open it up. The little guidebook fits right in line here. Perfect. Love that so far. so far. And then I pulled that off, and that was the first me of going, oh my god, because this feels very supernatural, and I love that. I love that. That was something I did. I think I did an unboxing for the Game of Thrones tarot, and in addition to it featuring these characters and these scenes that we're so familiar with, when you opened up the actual box, it felt like it belonged in that world. It really not just resonated with the characters on the images of the cards and things like that, but the box itself felt like something that you would open up in a fantasy world. So I like that. And I kind of feel the same here. You know, when you look at this, I'm like, I could see someone in Supernatural if they were going to pull out a tarot deck, just pull this bad boy right out, right? So I like that it fits not just with the show theme with the cards, which can't wait to look at, but also just the style of the box and the backs of the cards and how it's not. I'm almost afraid to touch them because I'm always afraid of getting fingerprints on things, but we'll be brave. We'll be brave. Okay, so the book looks like it looks like it kind of just goes through all the different cards and things like that. A little brief explanation of like understanding your tarot deck, a little bit of an explanation for people who are, you know, maybe Supernatural fans but not tarot fans, which I like. We like getting people into tarot and what it's all about and all the fun stuff. And then it looks like it just goes and explains each of the cards. It gives you a small paragraph, a small little blurb about the card, and then it tells you an upright and a reversed meaning. I like that. Again, you know, tarot is something that we're seeing people are getting into a little bit more these days. So it's kind of fun to see how each deck is interpreting that, but also each deck is going to resonate with different people. You might have people who are into Supernatural but not extremely into tarot, but once they saw the tarot deck they were like, okay, I'm a little curious, let's play around with it. A deck and a book like this can sort of help make that connection. So if anyone wants to get into tarot more, this kind of just gives you it's like a dip in your toes into the water to get a feel for it. So there's something about that that's kind of nice. It looks like it's like that for each of the major arcana. You see what the actual card is, you have a little blurb explaining the card, and then you have an upright and a reversed meaning for it. And then you have the picture on the reverse side of what the card actually is, which I guess in my opinion, I would think like, well, these look like decent sized tarot cards. They don't necessarily need the printed picture right in there. But again, it is also good, especially if you're a newbie who's kind of just getting into tarot and you're getting into it through the medium of Supernatural. You can have the card there in the book to actually compare what the meanings say versus what the card looks like. You can maybe start seeing some of those themes and symbols pop out in the card rather than having to go through the deck, find the right card, and then look it up. It is a way to potentially help make those connections through just looking at the guidebook. And I'm someone that before I use a deck, I like to read the book if I can. And this is actually like, it's pretty short, easy to get through book. Like, it's not dense. This keeps everything plain and simple, and that's, again, kind of nice depending upon where you're at with the tarot. So it looks like it starts off with the suit of bones. No really explanation of the suit of bones. The next one is pentagrams, which I'm going to assume is pentacles. You know, I would have actually thought that bones could actually relate to earth, but pentagrams works just because, I mean, yeah, like pentagrams. I guess pentagrams are utilized in Supernatural. It seemed like in season 1 they might have been open more to the idea of exploring, you know, pentagrams and witchcraft and things like that. And not in a it's bad, it's evil sort of way. You know, you had, I want to say it might have been episode 1 actually, with Sam and Dean when they first started going off to find their dad, and the white woman, they saw a girl wearing a pentagram around her neck. And Sam actually said, well, it's actually a very, you know, it's a powerful form of protection, you know? So there was that recognition there of this is a form of protection, and, you know, the elements and the soul uniting in the pentagram itself. And obviously the tattoo that Sam and Dean have, it does have a pentagram in the center of it. So there was a lot of hints throughout Supernatural of, hey, these things aren't necessarily all that bad. But it did feel like as the show went on, it did start translating a bit more into witchcraft. All those other things are bad and evil, which I'm getting pretty sick of. I'm getting really sick and tired of this whole pagans equal evil thing that we still have going on. But that might have changed a bit more in the later seasons. Again, I need to play catch up. I'm gonna be open about that. So we have bones, pentagrams, and blades. Blades, I'm gonna assume, is swords or air, you know, whichever you work with. And then you have goblets. So obviously water. Well, I would assume water. You have some tips on caring for your deck. You have some tips on reading, you know, methods, and it's got some spreads back here. So it does have a few of those things in here, which I like. So again, very simple. If you're a more intense tarot reader, this might be very basic, but it's fun. And it's also very niche. Niche. It's obviously there for the collector and for the supernatural aficionado, which, come on, man. It's one of the perks of living in the world right now. We can get tarot decks on mostly everything. I'm still waiting for my Full Metal Alchemist tarot deck. I'll happily make that one. How about that? All right, let's get to the actual deck, because I want to feel this cardstock. Cardstock. Things in my life that I never thought I would be so obsessed with. Cardstock. So, yes, it's a mass market produced tarot deck, so I'm not expecting the highest end, but I hope they at least feel good. It does have a little pull string to make sure you get all your cards out. Ooh, comes out so nice and smooth. And yes, we do have sigils all down the back. I love it. Again, I'm like afraid of touching it. I don't want to get like fingerprints on it. I'm such a that person, like, oh, it's a new thing, I don't want to, But yeah, this feels it's smooth, but it's also matte. It's not like high gloss. I'm touching it, obviously. I'm not seeing my fingerprints that much, so I think that's a good sign. Just love how the gold stands out. That's really, I like how they did that. Oh, that's fun. But they do feel sturdy. They don't feel like they have give to them, but they don't feel like they're gonna tear as soon as I shuffle them, which is a good thing. And this is where, like, going through this deck, I might hit some problems because there's some figures here that I don't know. So like the High Priestess, I think the Empress is Mama. Oh, look at that, it's Mama and Papa Winchester. Both for the Empress and the Emperor. I like it. Again, I know a lot of this is fault on me because I haven't gotten through all of those later seasons. I do need to get back and do that. Unfortunately, while Supernatural was on Netflix out in the States, it's not on Netflix out in the UK. So I gotta figure out a different way to watch it. But I'll get there. At some point. But that's not gonna stop me from enjoying the fact that, hey man, there's a supernatural chariot. I was gonna say there's a supernatural chariot. There is a supernatural chariot. Love that. I absolutely love that baby is the chariot. I mean, obviously she would be, but I do like that. See, that's just it. I feel like I'm just gonna hit a few points of like, oh yes. Like I am having some of those moments. I like Bobby as the hermit. I do like that. Oh my god. You got the lucky, the rabbit's foot, the wheel of fortune. I love that. That's good. That is strong. I love it. Oh, my baby. Oh, my sexy baby. I love Castiel. Castiel has, like, as soon as Castiel came on screen, I absolutely fell in love with him. Castiel's just gonna be a character that stays with me for the rest of my life, and it's one of those things where I celebrate living in the world of today for little things that I know will stick with me forever. Supernatural, the characters it created, the stories it told, and even at the end of the day, like the good positive messages that were dipped throughout the show, you know, family, sticking together, doing the right thing, and fighting for good even when it's difficult. Like, Supernatural displayed all of that throughout the show. So, you know, it's little things like that just I feel like I will carry with me forever, man. I really want to figure out like what each of these are. So is Bones? I think Bones is probably fire or wands. That's it. Oh, okay. Yeah, actually that works. I can understand Bones as wands. That symbology, it took a hot minute, but I got that. Oh no. I found a bend in one of my pages. That makes me a little bit sad. It does start off when you open up the deck with the king, queen, knight, and page. 1, 2, 3. Okay, this is a little bit weird. Sorry, I'm back at a point where I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this. So I'm just looking through the Bones cards and I'm seeing one starts off with, you know, this bone on fire. I could have gotten that, just, oh yeah, certified fire. Duh, Anya. So you look at this card and I would assume that, okay, this is the first card I see. I'm going to assume that maybe we're doing more of a Marseille style deck where we don't have images from the show, we don't have characters from the show, we just have the image of the suit, the bone, and however many there are. That's sort of confirmed in the second card where we just see 2 bones. So I'm like, okay, that's how we're gonna do it. All right, you know, it's a little sad, you know, the show's got 15 seasons. Like, I know there's a lot we can work with, so I would assume that we wouldn't have to do that. But then you have card number 3, and there's an actual image on it. And then you go to 4, 5, 6. So it's just this sort of random smattering of deciding, like, some cards are gonna just be bones, and some cards are gonna be figures, characters, scenes, and that's a little bit, I don't really think I like that sort of mishmash. One of those things where I'm like, pick one and stick to it. If it's just gonna be all bones, just do all bones. If it's gonna be characters and scenes, do that. It almost comes across like you can think of scenes to do. You know what, let's keep looking. Let's keep looking, because maybe there is a theme. Maybe it's all like the 1s and the 2s, and then the 3 you have a picture. Let's see how it works. So, king, queen, knight, page. Oh, is this the ghost face or is this the page of pentagrams? I like that. That's cute. All right, so we do start off 1 with Ace of Pentagrams. By the way, that is a pretty damn cool picture. Although I will say, like, it makes sense because it does fit with the show and the theme of the show, but just the way that's colored, it kind of makes me think of fire. And again, this could just be because, you know, I've been studying, working with tarot for years now, so I kind of understand, like, the themes and the symbols that we're supposed to be going for with each of these suits, but that's something where I'm like, oh, I don't know. This is giving me a little bit of a different vibe. So I think for bones, 1 and 2 just had bones, and then we got to 3. Okay, so it's not. So we have 2, and we do have, like, you know, a character on here, and then we go to 3, the pentagrams and stuff like that. Okay, I'm not, I hate saying it like this, I don't understand what the pattern is here. Like, is this just supposed to be the characters from the show as opposed to, like, scenes? You know, to me it would make sense if we had, like, characters as your court cards, and then maybe scenes throughout the show, which it does seem like it does occasionally. Oh, what the hell is this? Okay. All right, be very careful with this deck because, you know, I'm sitting here thinking, oh, the cardstock's fine, but I don't know if you can see this. This is card number 5, and there are some scratches throughout here. Again, y'all just saw me open the actual package, the box that this was shipped to me in, so you know this is brand new. And obviously that's just sort of like surface damage. It's not that big a deal, but it does sort of like take away from the deck, and it means it can get damaged pretty easily. So a little upset about that. That's sort of the risk you take when you're collecting things that are made of paper all the time. Also, here's something else. So you have this one, and this almost sort of mimics what the 3 of Pentacles looked like, this sort of faded, shadowy pentagrams. Then you have this one, 2 different styles. And again, I haven't read the guidebook yet, but it just seems like it's, you know, I know for the suits, it's just 2 blurbs, one of what the card means upright and one of what it means reversed. So, you know, it's not like it's going into tons of details about the symbolism and things like that. It's meant for you to make your own connection, but there is something a little bit disjointed about the themes and stuff like that going on here. I don't really know what to make of it. But again, there are just, this is quite a bit sad. Again, I'm just noticing all of these sort of like lines and creases just down some of these cards. You know, you can just tell it can get scratched so easily and stuff like that. But again, right after your 6 of Pentacles, pentagrams, my mistake, with the pentagrams that look like they're made of metal or steel, you're back to having these hand-drawn ones, which I kind of like the hand-drawn ones. But again, I don't understand why it looks like this, why it feels so disjointed. And again, you have some of these cards in here. You have a handful of them that are just the pentagrams, which you're not you're not getting any symbolism from there in terms of like a scene to resonate with. You have the other cards in the suit that have characters or figures on them, but not necessarily a scene. And then this one, granted, these are 2 characters, but this does also feel like a scene. Like this is like a, you know, it's the 10 of Pentacles, the closing of a cycle, you know, and it sort of, to me at least, signifies like a coming home in a sense. So to me, that says like there were scenes here throughout the show that could have resonated with what each of these cards is meant to mean, but it just doesn't seem like that's being done. So maybe that means I need to dig in a little bit more into the making of this deck, you know, what the creators were thinking about and doing. I kind of thought that you would get that from the guidebook, but you might not get the whole background story here, because this to me is starting to feel, as I go through it, a little bit disjointed and a little bit, I don't know, would it be rushed? To me, if you're gonna make a deck like this for a TV show that does have so much history behind it, there is a ton of stuff from Supernatural that you can use and pull ideas from to make tarot cards for them. Like, I don't doubt that even if you just wanted to use the first 5 seasons, I don't doubt that I could come up with scenes from the first 5 seasons even that could represent what the themes of the tarot cards are meant to be. So, you know, to know that this is coming out after, you know, more than 10 seasons, and some of it just feels blank. There's not really a noticeable pattern as to what is, you know, just a symbol, a pentagram or a bone, when there's no noticeable pattern of what gets chosen to be just a pentagram or a bone and what gets to be a character. That makes it almost seem like, I hate saying it like this because I don't like being super critical, because obviously someone worked on this. Like, my first question would be, what was the time frame like? Did you run out of time to think of things, or were you not able to use some aspects of the show? You know, were you only able to use characters? Were you not able to use scenes? Like, what were the limitations? Or was it a case of, and I hate saying this because I don't like being a naysayer, but was it a case of you didn't want to go through the whole show? And that's kind of like, I don't know. I'm very much someone who is, any art project you're gonna do, you should give your all to it. Whatever your all is. Some days our all is 50% because we're just in a space that day. But always, especially if you're gonna be putting it out into the world like that, always give it everything you've got. So right now I'm a little upset, but doesn't change the fact that this is still a pretty nice deck. Still pretty gorgeous. But again, here, like, you have your Ace of Blades, and it's not a character, but it's also not a standalone symbol like we saw for bones and pentagrams. This clearly says this is a scene from the show. I guess I just don't get why some things would have a scene, like here. Other things only get a character. And then you move on to something like this, which again, this does have clear meaning. These are I think they're the Angel Blades. Someone could tell me I'm wrong. But again, you do have a scene from the show, props from the show, and then occasionally like characters, you know, you have, oh God, I can't remember her name, but the werewolf from season 2. I think it was season 2. This means something to me, but it's just the best word I've got is disjointed. I'm not understanding why some things are scenes, why some things are characters, why some things are just props, and what would make you choose to go one or the other. Like, I would just say, like, if you're going to do something like this, then all of the pip cards, all of the, 1 through 10s of the suits should be either a scene or a character, or should just be, your symbols, your bones, your pentagrams, your blades, or your goblets. Like, just one or the other, because it's sort of just being this random pile here. I'm kind of just, I don't know how to feel about it. Like, it just, I don't know what it all means. It's evident that we clearly have someone who has thought about some things and who's been here for a while. Like, this is the woman in white from episode 1, season 1. Like, this is stuff that we're not just talking about late seasons and stuff like that. There's some early season, like, there's some early show stuff in here. Yet again, we have just a goblet here for Ace of Goblets. And, you know, again, you have characters, and then you go right to just 3 cups. I mean, I've said it a few times, I just don't know. Again, I'm just gonna do this because, you know, just so you can see. Character, goblets, goblets, character, goblets, goblets. Like, when you look at it like that, and there's no discernible way to identify or understand why in one card a character was chosen, and why in one card the goblet was chosen to signify the theme of the card, it just kind of looks like you couldn't think of anything. And that's why, at least if there was a pattern, if say, you know, the 5s and the 10s were characters and everything else were just goblets or images of pentagrams, at least you can kind of understand, okay, it's, you know, maybe it's because, you know, 5, the halfway point, the turning point, putting something there to signify that. And then the 10, the culmination, the finishing of something, the completion. And then everything else in between is sort of the build up and the growth of that. But when it's just, each one's a little bit different. Like, I think there were more scenes and characters in the Bones suit than there were in the Goblet suit, which is also strange when you think about the fact that Supernatural can be a very emotional show, and it is about connections and relationships and family just as much as it is about saving people and hunting things. It's just, I don't get it. And that kind of bothers me. And I know I said at the top of this video, just from looking at the guidebook and how simple it was and things like that, I know I said that it would be good for, you know, someone who's just getting into tarot, or someone who is a fan of Supernatural but kind of into tarot. It might be a good starting space. I don't know that it would be. It would be great if all of the pip cards, if all of those 1 through 10 cards of each of the suits had scenes and or characters from it for you as a reader to build that relationship and start understanding what these cards are meant to be and symbolize. But it doesn't have that. And granted, some people are great with the Marseille style tarot deck. And, you know, some people don't need the symbols and the imagery that something like a Rider-Waite-Smith style deck would do, where it does show you, you know, like the 3 of Cups and everyone's celebrating and stuff like that. Some people don't need that, and they can just look at the 3 cups and know that that means celebration. That's fine. But when you have something like this and it's all sort of mixed together, that makes it a little bit more challenging in a sense. So I don't know that this would be a good deck if you were just starting out with tarot. It's great if you're just a collector of tarot decks and you're also a Supernatural fan, that's something. So I guess it works out for me, but I hate saying it, but I don't see myself using this deck. I see myself kind of just putting it on the shelf and having it be a display thing. It's kind of sad because I love the show and stuff like that, but I would rather it be something where I can see more aspects of the show that I love celebrated in a tarot deck. So I don't know. I just nice card stock, and nice to have something that, you know, represents the show that I still hold dear to my heart, but I don't know, just guess a little bit disappointed. But either way, that's a brief unboxing of the Supernatural tarot deck. And yeah, I guess I'll talk to y'all later. Bye. Anya out.